All right. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Caring Caregiver Show. I'm your host, Savy, the founder and CEO of Give Me a Break. And we're a nonprofit organization that's caring for you, caring for caregivers. That's what we do. We're here to bring back the joy of caregiving. And each week, we help you to survive. This is the finale episode of season 17. Truly an honor. And I'll tell you, I have to use this platform at this point to re-talk about that statistic. So 40% of all caregivers will pass before the ones that they're caring for. And I know it used to be 50. And for those of you who follow us, and thank you so much for being so loyal to the show and always being there, it was 50%. So we've saved 10% of our caregivers over the past 5 years. And that's a real big number. If you think about 63 million of us in the United States alone, that's a big number. So we're doing a great job. And as a community, we're doing everything we can to see you and to support you and do everything we can for caregiver survival. So we're going to bring that 40% even lower if we can and just make it happen. That's what we want to do. Anyway, you can check out our website. Just go to gab808.org. There's more information for you. And you can fill out a caregiver support request. Now, that caregiver support request does a lot of things. That can get you on a newsletter. That can also get you connected to resources. It can also give you the information that you need. So fill it out. Make sure you put in as much detail as you can. And then it comes to us. And we'll get to you. We try to do at least 48 hours, but sometimes 72, depending on the volunteers, and get as much information together as we can for you ahead of time, and then get that back to you. Now, I did hear something from one of our caregivers, so I'm going to pass this on to you. And she got a hold of me and said, you guys never get back to me. I tried, never got back to me. I didn't hear anything. And I said, well, what happens sometimes is our emails go to your junk inbox. And I said, please go and check that in your email and then see if perhaps that's what happened. And she called me back and was just overjoyed, and she apologetic, and she says, I'm so sorry. You're right. It was there in the inbox. And thank you. That's exactly the information I needed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm so glad we were able to help. But I'll tell you, we do get back to everyone. And if for some reason you didn't get a response, boy, text us at 808-754-3787 and say, I got nothing. And before you do that, check your junk email and mark us as safe, because we'll always be safe. We make a safe space for you. In fact, we offer you a break every week at our support sessions. And our support sessions really are your safe space. That's where you can go and connect with a community of caregivers just like you, right? So our support sessions are weekly, and they're online and Zoom, right? Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Just type in the meeting ID 808-754-3787. Hey, guess what? That's the same as our phone that collects the text. So go ahead and just type that in the meeting ID, and you're in. And you're connected to a community of caregivers that's there for you. You'll get to learn. You'll be seen. You'll be heard. And that's what we do. It's really a positive, safe space. And that's why we have it. And you get to share, learn, and connect. So every Tuesday, 8 p.m. And if you need to, if for some reason you didn't catch that meeting ID number, again, go onto our website, gab808.org, and you can scroll down there on our front page, and there's actually a button you can click to get right onto our support session. So it takes you directly there on Zoom. All right. And just again, drop us an email or a text, and we'll definitely get that number to you, because you don't want to miss out. We're going through a series right now called the Pause series. It's when you need to take a pause when you're caregiving and take that breath, right? And things that trigger you and why you need to take a pause. And so it's an acronym, right? PAUSE. We just did E on the pause, which is when you're exhausted. And what happens when you're exhausted? And so we talked about taking a power nap and how do you do that? And we talked about all of the ways that we're losing sleep and how we can change some of the things that we're doing just a little and be able to take advantage of moments. Maybe we're not going to get a full, knockout 8 hour, 10 hours of sleep. Of course not. We're caregiving. But how do you benefit from resting your body? And so it was a really good discussion, and everyone contributed to that. It was awesome. And so join us. You might learn something, and you be able to get a little rest. Take advantage of those moments in life. Okay, so my quick question to you today is, do you have a plan to be cared for? Right? Do you have a plan to be cared for? I know your head's in caregiving right now, but what's your plan to be taken care of? Because everybody is going to need a plan to be taken care of. So we're offering free workshops right now, and our free workshops are all about your care receiving plan. It's a whole plan for your time to receive care. And we're offering these free workshops to you and to anyone that's going to be taken care of. So not just caregivers right now, but everybody's going to need it. I mean, you probably have a retirement plan, but it's not going to include everything you need for your care receiving. And this is an 8-part series that covers all the aspects that you need to prepare to be taken care of. All right. And so you can register now. Go to gab808.org/CRP. Right? That's care receiving plan. So just go there, register. It all begins on April 4th. And I'll tell you, this is something no one's doing. No one thinks about it, because when I was thrown into caregiving for my mom and dad, I had to make some crazy decisions that I never thought I'd have to make in my life. And I had no idea what they would have done. On a day-to-day basis, I did not know what to do. There's no guidebook for understanding everything about a person. You don't know everything about a person. It might be a little easier if that person is your spouse or your kids. Maybe, I don't know. There's still stuff that maybe you don't know that what they would prefer. So having a care receiving plan in place means that when your time comes, and it will, that you have to receive care. It could be for 1 minute. It could be for 100 years. No, it could be for 10, 20 years. You don't know that. But in that moment and in that time that you're receiving care, your wishes will be heard. So get your care receiving plan together. Join us. It starts on April 4th. That's the first Saturday in April. And you can register now for this free workshop. And we'll start your care receiving folder. All right. The Caring and Caregiver Show is how Give Me a Break gets your back and gets you connected to resources. And one of those resources, of course, is our Giver's Guides magazine. Our Giver's Guides magazine is all about you. It's written for caregivers by caregivers with a caregiver's point of view. And this month or next month, starting in April, not only talks about your care receiving plan, but it is also National Stress Awareness Month. So there's some great ways for you to relieve stress, right? There's articles like 6 practical ways to cope, 5 ways to high five stress away. And I like one that's I call Pushing Through, right? And it's pushing through, it's costing you more than you think. It's a great article written by one of our writers. And of course, that's not the person I remember, which isn't on the cover, but I'll tell you what a great article if you're dealing with somebody with dementia. And all of these articles, slow down, take a break, right? How do you do that when you're caregiving? All written again by caregivers just like you, sharing their experience and caregiving right now. So these aren't just caregiver used-to-bes, right, that are telling you what to do. We're all caregiving. I'm still caregiving right now. We're all caregiving. And we're all using what we teach and what we've learned to survive and thrive, even within caregiving and beyond. So go to our website, check it out. All you have to do is make a donation of $25. And bam, you'll get 12 issues that come to you. That's the only way to get this magazine, by the way. So we appreciate those donations because that's how we survive. We don't have any funding. We don't have any grants. We are doing what we do by the kindness of your hearts. And of course, you can always go right there to that QR code too and make your donation there. So we appreciate that and thank you so much for it. All right, I've yacked enough, haven't I? You know what it's time for? Oh, and it's our last time. I am brokenhearted. And I'll tell you, our mindful moment is so important to everything that we do because we want you to do everything in moments and understand when you tie all those moments together, life can really be joyful. We are truly honored and have been this whole season to have this social media viral sensation. She has hundreds of followers, thousands of followers, and is a world renowned laughter leader, an award winning empowerment coach, and just an amazing person. An amazing heart, and she's here to bring you joy and keep you laughing. Please welcome back for the final time, oh, Bianca. Aloha, Bianca. Bianca Spears, how are you?
Aloha. Thank you so much.
I
And
am
hi,
so
everyone.
sad, but I'm going to pass it over to you and you're going to make me laugh now.
Let Savy cry in the back. Cry with laughter, that is. Hi, everyone. So today we are laughing. And as you will remember if you've joined us before, we're choosing to laugh. So there's no forcing or faking. We are choosing to laugh, which is as easy as breathing in and out. And the more you choose it, the easier it becomes. So why are we laughing? We're laughing to boost feel-good chemicals in our body that both feel good and do good, including dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, which are known as the happy hormone. And at the same time, we're reducing stress chemicals in our bodies. And as caregivers, you know, we can get frustrated, we can get flustered, we can feel the pressure and the weight of things and the stress of things. So it's good for us to take a moment to reset. And how better than through laughter? I mean, it feels so good, right? So, first today, we're going to shake off whatever you're holding on to. Maybe something happened earlier today, earlier this week, earlier in your life that you're still holding on to that you'd like to let go of. So we're going to start with shaking our hands and add a little laughter. Other hand. Shoulders. Bit of a wiggle in the hips. Shaking out one leg. The other leg. Whole body shake. With your head and laughing as well. Imagine the stress, the tension, the weight dripping off, flying off as you shake. Look down to the ground, see the droplets, see the puddle of it all coming off. Knowing you can pick it back up if you like, but you can also leave it there. Taking a nice deep breath in, smiling, sighing out. Nice deep breath in, smiling. One more like this. Now we're going to count the laughs. Now I'm going to laugh at myself probably because I often mess this up. So we're going to do one ha, 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 ha. So we're going to keep counting like that. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, 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 ha. All the way to 10. Well done. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, down into the belly. Letting it out with a smile and a sigh. In through the nose, down into the belly, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. Little smile and sighing it out. One more. Now we're going to do a couple of quick bursts of laughter. So let's see if we can do 5 seconds of laughter. So breathing in. 10 seconds. Breathing in. Sighing out. In and out. And one more, giggling on the exhale. Take a moment to close down your eyes or lower your gaze and just turn your attention inward. Noticing how you feel in your mind, your body, and your energy right now. Noticing if you're feeling lighter, more open, more free, maybe more silly, more playful, more joyful, more happy. You might even feel more calm. As I mentioned, laughter boosts those feel-good chemicals and reduces the stress chemicals. Just notice how you're feeling in this moment. And if this little bit of laughter has helped you, or you're just itching to get a little more, you can find me on YouTube under my name, Bianca Spears, or you can download the Laughly app, Laugghly, Laughly, which is available in your app store, wherever you get your apps. Thank you so much for having me today and on this season, Savy.
You are amazing. You are amazing. And really having you this season really has been a joy. And Kez, I'm going to miss you. But you brought laughter and calm, ironically, simultaneously to all of us. And thank you so much for that. Mahalo from the heart.
Thank
You guys, laughly.com, and you won't miss a single moment without Bianca. If you just download that app, you'll be able to she'll be right there in the palm of your hand. Anytime you need it. Thank you so much for being here with us and for sharing your heart with all the caregivers out there. I know that every single one of them have commented how much you really bring joy to them every time. So thank you for that. Again, you will be missed. I'll see if I can twist her arm to be back for next season. So thank you. I know.
Thank you. And thank you for all the work that you're doing in the world, Savy. It's honestly just amazing.
It takes a village and you're now part of it. So mahalo. Aloha and take care. Oh, she's just wonderful. You know how wonderful she is. You've all enjoyed her so much as I have. So again, get that Laughly app. It's a free app, you guys. It's great. And you'll get to go through guided laughter and meditations and breathing exercises and so much more with Bianca on her app. So laughly.com, it's a free app for you. Okay, let's get on with it. We talk about who is a caregiver a lot. Today, our guest is focused on one particular type of caregiver, and that doesn't always identify themselves as a caregiver, which is really interesting because they're kind of caught in the middle, right? Caught in the middle of caregiving for maybe two different generations, or just doing what they think is expected of them, right? And that's a sandwich caregiver. That's what we call it, right? You're caught right in the middle. You're called a sandwich caregiver. And yes, it's a real term. Because on one hand, maybe you have your kids and perhaps a parent, or maybe you have your spouse and kids, or you have your spouse and your parents. So you're kind of sandwiched between two different generations, or just these caregiving duties that come up, right? You don't plan it, it just happens. And so how do we survive this? Well, my guest today can help you find your way. She's an accomplished speaker. She's an accomplished and I practice this, that I wouldn't stumble, and of course I did, because you all know me, a clinician, a nationally recognized speaker, and nurse leader, healthcare entrepreneur with decades of years of experience in leadership. And she's also the CEO and president of Affinity Expert. But more importantly today, she is the author of the Sandwich Generation Handbook. And it is the box of tools for finding your way. And this is going to be a great discussion. I'm really excited to introduce you to Dr. Irina Koyfman. Aloha. Hi, Irina. How are you?
Hi. I'm actually calling in from cold Maryland, therefore the scarf. I wish I was in Hawaii.
Well, I'll tell you, you don't. Maybe today it would be good for you to be in Hawaii, but this past couple of weeks, we've had this storm. And people have been flooded out of their homes. The weather's been very not Hawaii. And a lot of people who were visiting went home kind of like a wet dog. They weren't happy at all. Wet cats, they had the worst vacation. So sometimes that happens and we get weather too. But today, I would love to have you here. I could tell you the blue sky, and it's just the right temperature, and it's our Hawaii weather. So we do get a winter too, but I am sending some warmth your way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us. And so will you please share your caregiving story?
Yes. So about 10 years ago, so I'm an immigrant. We came from Ukraine with a small family of 7, my grandparents, my parents, my brother, and my disabled uncle. And I was the youngest, which means that I picked up English faster than everybody. So I acted as a translator to begin with. So I guess I was caring before I knew that, what caring meant. But then I also went into nursing school. And as the only kind of medical professional in my family who spoke better English, I was taking care of everybody's medical appointments and yeah. So again, I kind of feel like I was thrown into the caregiving without the name, right? Okay, I was just doing what needed to be done. Right. But then fast forward, schools, degrees, children, businesses. And I remember about 10 years ago, I'm really caring for my father he developed dementia. My grandmother, who's at that time she actually passed away a few days before she turned 100. So she must have been in her early 90s.
Wow.
My uncle, who is severely disabled, my father-in-law. So everything, and still kind of young kids, young meaning, one was in high school, one was in middle school. And I'm a VP of clinical services, 300 people, meetings nonstop. And then I must have looked really frazzled or upset or something. And I don't remember who, but the woman asked me something and I answered something. And she said, "Oh, you're typical sandwich generation." And I was like, excuse me, English second language, right? What is that? So when she explained the concept, I was like, wow, that is truly what I felt like, right? I was in the middle of two and multiple generations, while also building my career, because it usually happens in people's in their 40s and 50s where we're like on the top or the peak of the career. Yeah. And that stayed with me. I kept thinking that, wow, I didn't know the concept. So fast forward, I would say 9 years. So last year I decided, after everybody passed away except my mom, who is 76 and thank God healthy, even though I still take her to doctor's appointments and stuff, and my kids are older, I was like, I need to write a book. Something inside of me was telling me that the book is needed for people like me, who I was 10 years ago, where I did not know. And because I'm a nurse practitioner, I've had, businesses, and I knew how to navigate through chaos and also care coordination. I was able to do a lot of things that I was like, I want to share this with people. So as a clinician, as a caregiver, as an immigrant, as somebody who was taking care of multiple generations, I just felt like that book needed to be written, and I decided to do it, and I did it. It took me probably about a year, even though it's a very small book, but I broke it down in 18 very small chapters. So I really wanted people to, I know when you're caregiving and when you're in the sandwich generation, every minute is valuable. So
well, the funny thing, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but is that the sandwich the sandwich generation or the sandwich caregiver term itself was not really mainstream. And it just, there was it's been here forever. People have been doing it forever, but no one really understood how different it is to be caught in the middle like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you actually sat down and said, I'm going to write a handbook, because there is no handbook to it, right? Is exactly what was needed. And I really love that you put it into, it is a smaller book, but it's bite size.
Exactly.
And you don't have, I mean, speaking of sandwich, but you don't have time to really, sit there with the book. To be able to go in it, in bite-sized chunks really helps that sandwich caregiver to benefit the most. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the book.
So the way I did it is I want to make sure that, for example, if you recognize that time management is your issue, you'll go into time management and it's 3 pages and you'll see what the problem is and what are the solutions. And every chapter also has my personal story, which like Bianca said, you have to laugh, otherwise you're gonna cry, right? So there's some fun and funny stories where I just want to tell everybody, like, I see you, I am you, I've been there. And so it all came from a good place of, I've experienced this. So there's a little bit of humor. And every chapter ends with 3 strategies that you can take right now to help you. And everything is free. All the tools are free. And I know you talked about naps and sleep. For example, a few years ago, I've learned about yoga nidra, and actually even went to like a retreat to learn it. It's an amazing, and on YouTube, it's all free. You can just type yoga nidra. If you have 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes in between my meetings, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to replenish, or I'm going to like fall asleep or break down. And I only have 10 minutes. I would Google yoga nidra 10 minutes. I would lay down in a sofa and go through the yoga nidra. And I'm telling you, at exactly the moment where the person says, now open your eyes, I open my eyes. At first, I didn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. I open my eyes and I feel refreshed. So everything in my book is free in terms of the resources. And 18 is important to me because I thought that my spiritual guide or my spiritual teacher was Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he always talked about 18 as one infinite. And I do think that spirituality is so important in caregiving, because I think without it, it just becomes much, much harder to deal with it. Yeah. And whatever you call it, God, universe, one infinite, just something that's bigger than us. If we try to embrace that and look at that from that point of view, I think it just makes it easier. It's not easy.
And I think that people tend to lose that spiritual being because they become so downhearted, and they lose it. It breaks your spirit, right? Yes. And your spirituality just sort of goes into a back seat, and that's what helps you to get that strength and to feel the positiveness in a situation. And so I think that's so important. I love that you do that. I love that you honored, your mentor, and I love that you honored that number, because numbers, I could talk about this forever. We won't go off on a tangent, but all numbers in life have meaning. Everything is, I believe everything's sort of mathematical that way, right? Mm-hmm. But showing that you put that much thought into what may appear to be a simple handbook is so filled with so much wonderful information. And I love that you also offer practical solutions like that. Yes. Because that's what you need. You need something. It's almost like a recipe book. You go to it, you go, okay, I'm not sleeping. Oh, I'm stressed out. Bam. And you get what you need. And here's the recipe. Now I've made the dish and I can now prepare it. And I just love that, because that's exactly and we keep alluding to food. I apologize. I must be hungry. But the sandwich thing got me going. And I think that that's exactly what every caregiver needs, not just a sandwich caregiver, but sandwich caregivers are so unique in that you're trapped in the middle of so much chaos. Yeah. And this is really important for you to be able to take that moment away and just use her resources, use the book to do so. Right. And I love that you offer this free to caregivers. Thank you. Yeah.
And Rosalind Carter, and I want to read it because I don't want to butcher it, said that there are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers, which I'm sure you know that, but it just says that at some point you either were, is, will be, or you will be caregived by somebody else. So knowing how to help maybe, somebody that's going to give care to you is also very important. Being prepared. I have a whole chapter on, preparation and advanced directives. I even have a chapter on AI because AI is, right here now, and
Yes.
and I'm board certified in AI in medicine. So I wanted to dedicate a chapter to caregivers so they can see how they can use AI to help them and to make their caregiving easier, faster. And also, I talk about a lot of things, what AI is not, and how to trust or not trust and
Oh, I
verify.
love this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, I try to just look at caregiving, especially in the sanguine generation, because it is children and parents, as all the problems that you can possibly have. And I'm sure there's more, but I chose the ones that were probably closer to me.
Right.
And then look at the problem. What is the analysis of the problem? But then what's importantly, like, what is the solution that you can
Yes.
implement right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you find that answer, right? And having it all in one place is always great too. I remember when I was going through caregiving, and I'm sure that my listeners and watchers are probably sick of me saying this, but when I was taking care of my mom, I couldn't find resources. I couldn't find everything. It took time to search for information, even
Yes.
if you were using your phone. And I didn't have that kind of time. As my mother's dementia, she had Lewy body dementia, escalated.
Yeah.
It was hard. I had to constantly be aware of my surroundings. I couldn't go off on a, research tangent, which I do now, but,
Yeah.
and so having something all in one place, and I love that you call it a handbook, because you can have that and then know that you can turn to it anytime you need it. And
Yes.
so I really love that you did this. And I love that you are not just somebody saying, I'm going to write a medical journal. No, your experience. You're a sandwich caregiver yourself in many, many different ways.
Yes. And I also bring science to it because, I am
Yes.
a doctor of nursing practice and I love science. So it's not just, it's not a spiritual, woohoo that some people are afraid of, but it's also not super scientific, but it's kind of, putting it together. Like, where's the science? Where's the science beating spirituality, where, what spiritual people were doing for millennia, right? Like meditating, breathing. Now there's science to say why it works.
But that gives validity to your statements too, right? So it's not just somebody saying, hey, do this. There's research behind it. There's authority behind it. There's experience behind it. It's a valid solution.
Yeah.
And so trying it isn't just a shot in the dark, right?
Yes. And I also want to say that I totally understand the financial strains with caregiving, especially with being in the sanguine generation. And I price this book so low that, it's really probably lower than anything else. And I'm trying to every time Amazon can give me ability to give it for free on the ebook, I do, and I did. But please, if anybody just wants a book and can't afford it, if they can email me, find me. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, just, my name, and DM me, message me. I will be happy to send a free copy. No questions asked. It's going to be email, PDF, but I will do that because I really want the more people get hold of the resources, the better the world will be.
Now, how can they can they just go to Amazon and get your book?
If they just go to Amazon and type in Sanguine Generation Handbook, there are a few sanguine generation books already, thank God. But if you just, make sure that it's my name, Irina Koyfman, you can find it. And I also want to tell you, Savy, was very interesting. Yesterday, I believe, yes, my friend texted me and she said, oh my gosh, Irina, get on CBS. They're talking about sanguine generation. And what happened is the actress Amanda Peet, who just came out and she did the beautiful write-up in New Yorker, I believe, how she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and both of her parents on different costs were in hospice, and she couldn't tell them about her issues, and she was dealing with that, and her mom was dying like near her home, and her father was somewhere else, and he, I think, passed away. So it's a lot. And she said that she didn't come out, I think, for about a year to anybody about her breast cancer diagnosis. But it's something that people are sometimes not understanding when you're dealing with something like that, that there's so much it's just so much pressure, so much stress, so much unknown that people just close up and they don't want to tell anybody. They don't want to have help. Like it's bizarre. But she came out now and they are talking about sandwich generation. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. My book is timely. But again, I just think that when you're in the sandwich generation, it's a very specific niche where you really feel the pull and the push from both ends. And they burning the candles from both ends. And I just want to be able to help and give some resources.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's so far reaching, I think, and that's the thing, is that that we need to be able to identify, first of all, that we are caregivers and that you need to put yourself first. I mean, I preach this all the time, but the caregiver is the most important person in a caregiving equation.
Agree.
Right? Because without the caregiver, who's going to take care of everyone? And so if you make yourself invisible, if you allow yourself to isolate and do not step up and say, I matter, then, then you're not going to be there. And you're going to care for them, right? Yeah. So having your book is a great way to look and see that you do matter and to take steps for yourself as well.
Yes. And I just want to add, I have a whole chapter on delegation. I have a chapter on letting go. It's important because we always feel as caregivers that only we can do it, and it's not true. And a lot of times it's actually fear or ego. So I dedicate the chapter. And also when my father, who was a big man, and his dementia was progressing quite fast, and it got to the point where my mom had to follow him like literally 24/7, because if he were to go to the bathroom, then all the walls will be, what color. I had to start a conversation with her, and I said, we need to place him in a nursing home because I'm afraid I'm going to lose you too. Yeah. And she was not, she didn't want to do that. And I understand, but it was a long conversation. It wasn't one and done. I think it took her a few months to get to the point where she agreed. But when I started the conversation, I started actually applying to nursing homes, looking, through insurance, through everything. And so when she finally agreed, then it was like, okay, no problem, we got it. But I want to tell people that it's a long process, and you can't just expect the fact that, oh, today you'll decide you need to, you're ready for nursing home. Tomorrow nursing home is open. Yeah. It takes sometimes weeks, sometimes months. So there's a lot of practical things. And with dementia, how I always tell people, and they always laugh, I became dementia certified practitioner because I was like, whoa, both of my father and my father-in-law, and with one, we totally missed the signs. So I was like, what happened? I'm a clinician. How could I miss that? So I was, and I always I was like, with dementia, you just have to learn how to lie. You have to lie and smile and laugh, because if you don't lie, things will get escalated. Yes. And there's a story how, we had to lie to my father about the car, and we gave him free, fake money from a dollar store because, with dementia, a lot of people think that somebody's stealing from them. And there was a lot of, I would say some of my friends, when they read it, they were, well, what do you mean? Like, we were told not to lie, and this is your father. And I'm like, no. This is a disease. So you don't lie to your father, you lie to the disease, because your father doesn't understand. And so there's a lot of practical things that.
Well, and if it makes you feel any better, they told us about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. So,
there you go.
Of course, I still believe in Santa Claus, but,
Of course, I believe in Tooth Fairy.
And the spirit of Christmas always. But, I think that, that's just how we deal with situations, right? And the bottom line is, I want to get back to this, is self-preservation. We need to preserve ourselves, and we need to put ourselves out there. And I will, as you are, continue to tell people, and it is a long process, but if you continually hear this, maybe then you will take a step back and take a moment for yourself. So take a moment, get her handbook. Irina's book is an amazing book. And so the Sandwich Generation Handbook, the box of tools for finding your way. What an amazing book. It's going to benefit you, not just if you're a sandwich caregiver, but I think every caregiver should have this as part of your arsenal of handbooks that you need. And so you can go on Amazon and just make sure it's the Sandwich Generation Handbook by Irina Koyfman. All right. Any last words for our caregivers?
No, I just want to wish everybody to not be diseased, to be healthy, to always remember that healthy spirit lives in healthy body. which means that, you have to take care of your whole self. It's not, I even said that, and I hate to keep going back to, but I want to tell you, Savy, that when I first learned in school mind-body connection, I was like, oh my gosh, it's brilliant. Of course. Why is it everything psychiatry is up? And
why weren't we taught this?
But the longer I got, the more I was learning and getting into it, then I was like, wait a second, there's not even a connection. We don't say eye finger connection or hair toe connection. We're all one entity. And with that, we have to learn how to nourish spirit, mind, body as one thing. So you can't just focus. I know people that go to gym and eat healthy, but they don't practice any mindfulness or yoga or meditation. And their body looks very healthy, but they're not necessarily all holistically well. And then, I talk to these women, mostly women, who are struggling when they're caregiving because they're not, they're surviving, but they're not thriving. So I think that it's so important to get everything and your rest and your well-being as a caregiver as the most important. I agree with you, because if something happens to you, then you just become another piece of that equation that nobody can solve.
Yep. Or you need to be cared for. And then what? So then somebody else has to take care of you as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And thank you for your kind heart. And I know why we connected when we met was because we definitely all speak the same language here. And regardless of where we are from in the world, we're all connected by our heart for caregiving. And certainly caregivers, please remember, don't just take breaths, but breathe, right? So it's good for your soul. But thank you so much for sharing with us today and making time out of your day to share with us. And there's really so much more to Irina than just her book, you guys. You can go on to check out our website too, affinityexpert.com. And so don't just think she just wrote a book, you guys. She's got accolades like I could spend another hour talking about. So I'm really honored to have had you on the show and to have met you. And I hope that we keep in contact, because I know there's so much more that we can do for caregivers. So mahalo for that.
Mahalo.
I appreciate you. Aloha. Thank you so much, Irina.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow. So there you go, you guys. Get the book. It's worth it. Sandwich Generation Handbook, a box of tools for finding your way, because you will. And I read through it myself. It's wonderful. And just one of those things that you say, I wish I had this. Well, guess what? You can. So there you go. And of course, you can check Irina out and what she does. Just so many wonderful things on affinityexpert.com. All right. Ooh, boy, I'll tell you. Season 17, boy. This has been packed full of so many amazing resources. And we just get more and more out there for you. We're going to bring our next season, season 18 is going to be so phenomenal, and just bring more resources to caregivers. You are not alone. You are not, and you are not without support. And we are going to cry from the top of the buildings, from the top of the mountains. We are here, we are here, we are here, until everyone hears that caregivers need this support. And so with people like Bianca helping you to breathe and to laugh and to find your calm, and with wonderful authors like Irina Koyfman, who has written these great books, and everyone else who's been a guest this whole season, I am truly honored to continue to do this and to continue to bring you all this information. And, I get to learn along the way too, right? I'm still caregiving. So every single time I see a way that I can do better for me and those that I care for. And you can do the same for yourself and for those you care for as well. Whew. Well, that's a wrap. I can't thank Bianca enough. And so, you guys check her out. You can go on her YouTube channel at Bianca Spears and download that app. It's a wonderful Laughly app. And Irina, thank you so much for being here today. Irina Koyfman, and you can go ahead and get her book. Just go on to Amazon and get the Sandwich Generation Handbook. You need it. That's what we do right here on the Caring Caregiver Show. It's all about connecting to caregivers and all about resources and community with your wellness, your survival, and your continuing thrival. right? Continue to thrive as the goal. Don't worry, if you missed this show, of course, you can check out our episodes, all our past episodes that will play. There we go, right there on YouTube. And you could watch us at Give Me a Break 808/streams, and you can see all of our live streams right there. Also, we'll be in rebroadcast. So let me take this off of there. We're going to be in rebroadcast from April through May. So you don't have to worry if you missed one of our episodes from this past season. And on the screen right now, you'll see a quick shot, and this will be on our website too. But you'll see a quick shot of all of those wonderful resources we've had all season. Gosh, just seeing them, it just fills me with so much joy to know that there's people out there who care for caregivers. And that'll be on all through April and May. And then we will be back in June. And I believe it's going to be the first Wednesday, but we'll be back live in June. And so get it on your calendar either way, because we'll have episodes playing every Wednesday for you. So every Wednesday at noon, set your timer, put it in there. And gosh, if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, please like, share, follow, subscribe. Those things mean everything. Our reach gets bigger by the moment and gets more massive. Our community keeps growing, and we want to keep doing that. Because if you sat here and you heard something that you needed, there's a caregiver out there that needs to hear that. And that's why we do what we do. So also, if you missed us live on the show or on any of our social media, you can hear us on podcast on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Google, any platform you want, and you can always do that. And if you're not sure, just go to our website again, gab808.org/CCS, Caring Caregiver Show, okay, /CCS. The bottom line is, stay connected. Don't isolate. You're not alone. We're here. It has been an honor. I'm so excited to have this season. It was a really great season, and I'm looking forward to our next. I'm looking forward to season 18. And in the meantime, I will say what my father always said, no matter what. My father never said goodbye. He always said, ahui ho, which means we'll see you again. So we'll see you again. In the meantime, enjoy all the rebroadcasts. And here's hoping that you're finding more joy in your caregiving every week, right here on the Caring Caregiver Show. Thanks for tuning in. And please, always be kind to yourself, and especially to those who care. Aloha, everyone.